More and more disturbing things come flowing into my data collection inbox at watsyasked@gmail.com. One thing I never expected to come in there would be, I'm just going to say it. There's been people who've talked about this, but they're afraid to call a spade because they're afraid to get demonetized. I don't care. I don't do this for the money. As much as my detractors would have you believe, I in fact love the game of Magic the Gathering, and I just want what's best for the game. So this video is about pedophiles in the Magic the Gathering judge program. I'm just one person who's getting anonymous tips and trying to vet them the best I can, but I've already discovered not one, not two, but 3 pedophiles in the Magic the Gathering judge program. This is a program of volunteers who puts people in positions of power at large Magic tournaments or even at the local game store level. I have repeatedly asked the powers that be in the Magic Judge program why they don't require simple criminal background checks for their judges, and they continue to dodge, blame other people, or the most recent excuse was simply that they didn't have the money. When I suggested they require this, that since judges volunteer, they should also be able to obtain a clean criminal background check on themselves. Most police stations will do this for free. They blocked me. In fact, they've been blocking tons of people when they ask questions about, hey, maybe since this is a children's card game, which is by the manufacturer's own standards for people who are 13 and older. But if you attend large tournaments or pre-release events, you see players as young as 8 or 9 playing this game. There's even a famous, I think, 9 or 10-year-old professional player. When asked about this, the Magic judges simply deflected and said it's just a small percentage, that the average age of the competitive Magic player was over 25 years old. That may be true, but there are still hundreds of minors at large-scale tournaments, which are now exclusively run by the company Channel Fireball, who also refuse to require background checks. So you have the judge program, a program that isn't officially a part of Wizards of the Coast, but is as officially a part of them as anything could be, refusing to require background checks of their judges. And I don't have any other way to see this as them trying to cover up. See this as something that they see, that they know, and they don't want to address it. It's disgusting. It's absurd behavior. Many states in the United States here require people who work with children and minors to have clean criminal background checks. And a lot of people have said, sure, background checks are great, but if they're an active predator, how can we really screen this? Well, the answer is we can't. But at least we could have some simple background checks or ask for some references for people who are alone with children, often, at minimum, in isolated situations in positions of power. This is creepy. I shared a transcript of somebody who spoke to the Magic judges, and it made me so angry that I essentially had to stop reading because it's just absurd. Actually, let me pull that up right now. Now, I shared some of this on my main channel, but I'm not sure the subscriber base there is necessarily old enough or active enough to understand just how big of a problem this is. Somebody is in the judge chat. This is the program that oversees thousands of these volunteers, asking, do Magic the Gathering judges at any level have child abuse clearance checks? I have a teenager wanting to join local organized play. The judge replies, it will depend on local regulations and requirements. Then, if it is something that concerns you, then you should talk to your local store about it. He replies, thanks, I did, although my state requires such background checks for professional or volunteer services with children. The owner and organizer of the local game store said he was never compelled to do background checks on judges. The judge replies, I assume the store employs staff for their events. It would be up to the store to know what the requirements of the local law are. So what you see here is the association in charge of thousands of judges, the overseeing power, actually trying to tell this person that that's not something they oversee. They couldn't possibly be the one to require background checks of their judges. In my state, the default functions of child abuse clearance fall under the professional employee or volunteer. How would a judge be categorized? They reply, I have no idea. I'm not an expert in laws in your local area. He replies, I was a clinical therapist for 20 years. My daughter wants to join organized sanctioned play, including and beyond Friday Night Magic. My questions arise from knowing strict laws governing my work with kids. Does the judge program have an official stance beyond passing to the event organizers? Wizards of the Coast Care sent me to this forum to ask. Wizards of the Coast Custom Sports said they, Wizards of the Coast, have no governance on this policy, but suggested I ask you. He replies, this channel cannot answer to any official stance. It's insane. When I read this the first time, I was so very angry. So very angry, I told people to let me know if there was anything afoot. And it took less than 12 hours. Less than 12 hours. This tweet has been retweeted almost 200 times with 500 likes. Magic judges knew about this person and did nothing. They were convicted of dissemination of photos, videotapes, computer depictions, and films of child pornography, and charged to possession of child pornography. This person was a Magic the Gathering judge in the Lansdale area. He celebrated his 5-year anniversary on May 2016. He was not removed, as far as anyone can tell, he's not removed from his judging duties, and he has not been banned by the DCI. Mind you, I have been banned for saying mean words. Obviously, being in possession of child pornography is something that they don't have a problem with. Let me show you some more things that are going to make you mad. Channel Fireball is another. They run all the large tournaments. They employ the most amount of judges. When asked about whether or not they were going to do background checks, they, of course, evaded and said they weren't going to do that. I pointed out that Pokemon, the Pokemon TCG, requires, it says in their terms of service, finally, to protect our players and guarantee that Pokemon events are placed in the best possible hands. We run background checks. We run a background check on organizer candidates whenever possible. Now, I don't know how good they are at executing this, but clearly they have it in their terms of service. I've been told that the card game Force of Will also has similar requirements of judges in their program. Magic the Gathering, with 20 million players worldwide, apparently doesn't see the need to background check their judges. Here's some more information. Grand Prix Indy, the event I was barred from, which is in 3 weeks, would by state law and or local be required to have clean child abuse clearances for volunteers working with children. Per Wizards of the Coast and Judges Program's own admission, tournament organizers are responsible for holding these records. So, is it the judge program? If it's not the judge program, then it's the person running the tournaments. Channel Fireball runs all these tournaments, so since they sponsor this event, ergo, they need to hold their judges' certifications or be in violation of state law. The entire event could be shut down for criminal negligence or failure to produce such certification to police when asked. The information can be verified via the Indiana Child Protection Services, and even the local YMCA holds and updates. Just passing the check once isn't enough validation. The certifications expire so many years based on state and must be renewed and kept on file. These are their, quote, best practices as well as compliance with state laws. This person spoke with Pam at the Indy YMCA, and more information can be found on the CPS website. Here we have the judges responding publicly. We don't have the ability to vet those and take our rules, those that take our rules qualifications. and most don't work with minors. If a judge is to work in such a position, they should clear it with their employer. Well, that's interesting. That's a very convenient position for you, Magic Judge Association. You are the association they volunteer for. So the Magic Judges are saying, we don't think it's a big enough deal to run any kind of background check. Again, they could simply require the judges have clean papers. If you have nothing to hide, I guarantee you would have 100% participation. Now, if they have something to hide, maybe they don't want that. But I, for one, don't think it's absurd to, want my judges to not have some crazy criminal history or, in this case, be a child predator. It's appalling to me that they just don't care. They're just passing the buck. Why wouldn't they just put out, hey, if you're a judge, if you're going to work in 2018, you have 30 days to submit your clean background check, and you have to have it on you before you work at any time. Done. Pass the cost on to the judges. The judges are compensated in magic cards and foils and boxes and everything else. I guarantee you 99.9% of judges would have no problem with it. What I have a problem with is, why is everyone pushing back so hard? I don't understand why either Channel Fireball, the tournament organizers, nor the Judge Association are wanting to take any responsibility for this. Now, I guess I can highly recommend you contact Hasbro and Wizards of the Coast, because they're not taking it seriously. Channel Fireball has the exclusive rights to all worldwide Grand Prix tournaments for Magic the Gathering. Okay? There is nobody else who can host these events. The person who has that monopoly is refusing to background check their employees who are working in direct positions of power with minors. I mean, I don't need to simplify it any more than that. And look at this. 1 hour ago, just another confirmed pedophile working in the ranks as a Magic the Gathering judge. You can see he had his 5-year anniversary. Let's actually go back to the beginning of this thread. We can confirm that he is, in fact, these are the same person. David Park, and he was in California at the time. They scrubbed the dude I reported from the judge anniversary page. So someone there is attempting to sweep this. They've already scrubbed him off. We already have a screenshot, but now they're trying to cover it up. Isn't that interesting? Oh, this is the other pedophile, the other one that we busted earlier. They haven't scrubbed him yet. It'll be interesting to see. This is the guy that outed the last pedophile. There's some interesting, you cannot make this stuff up. It took less than 5 minutes to look up on the Predator website. Wow, he was convicted in 2015, but WotC Magic Judges celebrated his 5-year anniversary in 2017. That means he was an active judge during this period in which he was engaging in pedophilia, I don't know how else to say it. And nobody cares. I don't understand why nobody cares. Why is it? Well, I know it's because of the messenger. It's because I'm the one bringing it up. I don't know what else to do. I mean, these are people with direct access to kids, and nobody cares to background check them. Even when I can show you they can incur zero expense. It's as simple as adding a single line to your employment requirement that you must be able to produce this. Nobody wants to do it. Channel Fireball doesn't want to do it. The Judge Association doesn't want to do it. We have to go to Hasbro and Wizards of the Coast. This needs to be fixed. There needs to be mandatory background and criminal background checks on their employees. This is disgusting. They won't say anything about this, and I don't understand. And a lot of you will say, well, they're far left, so they're okay with that. I don't know, I guess. This is how it looks, right? I don't know. I was able to speak to one reporter about this, and I'm going to tell everyone else who will listen, because I'm just one guy with a couple of people feeding me a little information here and there. And if you have anything, please send it to watsyasked@gmail.com, and I will expose whatever I can verify. But, could you imagine how many of the thousands of judges wouldn't pass a simple criminal background check? I don't even understand how. I mean, I don't understand. Here's his. This guy was messing around with young kids, 15, 13, 14, 15, just about the exact age that is allowed to play our game, Magic the Gathering. Now, why nobody cares is pathetic. The fact that I'm the one exposing this stuff is insane. We've already seen the judges get caught in this article that came out today. We saw them get caught red-handed, having a set of double standards when it comes to dealing with me, and that's one thing. But when you're talking about putting kids in danger, it's insane to me. I'm trying to stay calm, but I know by the end of this week I'm going to have 2 or 3 more of these creeps in my inbox, and I'm going to continue to bring it to everyone's attention and hope that other news sites pick up the story, because apparently me talking about it isn't doing any good. This is disgusting. Wizards of the Coast, Magic judges, you need to require background checks. It's literally the bare minimum thing you can do. I would love to hear your excuse for why you continue to refuse to protect the players of this game.